Hey y'all, so I am still on my trip. Like I said, I will be here. Um, he specifically told me 3 nights. So, 3 nights. The thing is, I only booked 2 nights. Um, because as far as like the funds, um, not really sure how I'm gonna make day 3 happen. um, I don't know. I'm supposed to check out tomorrow morning, but he wanted me to stay 3 days. 3 nights, 4 days. He told me that specifically a few days ago, the 15th. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. But besides that, some things have happened since leaving and coming here today. Number one, my spouse, he doesn't understand. He's still not seeing me and seeing the picture through God's eyes. And so he's angry that I left and came on this random trip. He doesn't understand it. He's actually not even talking to me, so I guess here we go in another separation. I've been, over the last several years that we've been going through this, y'all, I have been the one to pull back and pull away for months at a time. This time, it appears to be him. With that being said, it's intentional on God's part. I'm at peace with it. Usually I would be very, like, my whole trip would have been ruined, right? Which, by the way, I still don't know exactly why I'm here. I do know that I took an Uber earlier. The Ubers here are free. Not regular Uber, but an Uber, I guess, that the city pays for. And so I'm like taking it, the windows were down and the air is just blowing in my face, the breeze, nice breeze, right? And I passed this sign that's like, just breathe it in. It was almost like God was like, just soak it all in, like, while you can. I'm like, is this like a vacation? Like, what is this? And another thing that's interesting, y'all, is that this hotel originally opened the day before I was born. The day before my birthday. So I'm like, that's ironic. And with that being said, God has been all in this trip this entire time. I've seen a lot of the word crown over and over and over. Just a lot of positive. And the thing is, like, I would have never picked this place to come to. Ever. But it's like, it's different. Although it's in the same state that I live in, I feel like I'm just, I don't know, in a different world, if that even makes sense. Like, I'm just the environment's different, the atmosphere is different, everything is different, and I feel, I don't know, it's different, but in a good way. And so I'm just going to mention too that in this time that we are being elevated, because it is time, like, it is time. In this time that we are being elevated, as I've explained before, I have something in my eye. When we get elevated, I knew when this time came, God had already explained to me and showed me that the, enemies, and for a lot of us, our spouses, are our enemies at the moment. they're going to go down while we go up, essentially. And it's judgment. Like, God has brought back up the dream about that I had where my spouse was on this bus with people, like other people, and I felt led to get off of the bus, and he told me not to, and I was like, no, I need to. Like, I didn't listen to him. I got off the bus because he was like, someone's gonna be out there like throwing like fire bombs or something like that, and I was like, I didn't care. I just got off anyways. And as soon as I got off, lo and behold, there's the guy throwing the fire bombs, right? And he threw one at me, but it barely like landed on the ground next to my ankle. I could feel the heat like a tiny bit, but like it didn't hurt me. And so I ran to the trailer that was over off to the side, and I got on it and I shut the door. And then I felt led to open the door, got off, and I saw all these people recovering from this destruction that just had taken place, that they got caught up in. Like, their faces were literally like black from smoke. And so anyway, on the way here yesterday, I had seen this sign that stood out to me that said, "Can't go without balls." And I was like, because me and my friend were talking about, we were literally on the phone talking about like the promised land and all these things, and I had seen "can't go without balls." And I was like, yeah, I mean, you can't go. I mean, God does. Oh, I had just gotten 4451 BTB, and I heard back to back, and 4451 literally means burning fiery trial, calamity. Okay, calamity as a test. So I was thinking like, yeah, you really can't. I was like, God does test you and take you through the fire, and it does grow some balls on you, like. But that's not what he was speaking about. He's literally speaking about the fireballs. He took me back to the dream, and the thing that I had gotten on was the ark, right? It kept me safe. It kept all of us on it that were on it safe. And what he was saying with that is like, this person can't go with you in your elevation, right? As you're being elevated, they can't go with you until they experience that calamity and their fire, right? You've already experienced that. You've already went on that in your walk, right? Now it's time. You've come out of the fire, not smelling like smoke. Now it's time for you to elevate and get your rewards, your rest, all of the things, right? Meanwhile, it's about to hit the fan for them, okay? And it's no coincidence that God spoke to me and told me to come to this place for the weekend. My spouse gets mad at me, stops talking, doesn't even want to talk to me again, like ever. And I had already felt led to pull back this past week, like to not be in communication with him as much. And I didn't know why, but I know why now. And because it's about to hit the fan for him, and I don't need to be in contact with him, because I don't need to, if you're in contact or you're in communication or in connection with a person when they're going through that, it's going to spill over onto you, right? So this whole thing was orchestrated by God. He doesn't even know it. I know it. That's why I'm at peace with it. I know that it's in God's hands, and I know that he's orchestrating the whole thing. And literally, like, after him and I got off of the phone, I was like, oh God, like, I didn't expect this to happen today. But I passed a sign literally like within seconds that says, wow, that hurt deep. Let's bounce back. And then I was getting today, so actually I felt led to go today back to look at the phone call and all that and the numbers in that. And the time that he called me at means in the Strongs to raise up, to resurrect, to stand up. But the time that we were on the phone for means agony, anguish, and a state of struggle that that emphasizes felt pressure, experience in an intensely personal way, great fear. So, oh, and then I saw this fire truck. I was outside eating breakfast this morning, and I saw this fire truck, and so my spouse has always had the number 13 follow him. I don't know why. But I see this fire truck, right? And it says Lucky 13. And it stood out because he always feels like that's his lucky number because it follows him, right? He looks at it as a lucky number. So then I had written that down, and I was on the phone with my friend and I was telling her about it. She's like, well, what does the number 13 mean? And I was like, good question. I don't know. So I look it up, and it means destruction, ruin, and loss in the Strongs. So I'm like, and then a few days ago, I had seen Run 48, which means to purify, to cleanse. I had seen 84, which means wrath, fury, rage. I saw 343, calamity, distress, disaster. I saw 342, which means renewal. And I saw 1491, which means to shear, to cut off, to prune. So, and then I had seen my spouse's name with RRN. And let me see. Basically, the Lord was showing me through that He's going to, not just him though, other spouses, all the spouses now, a certain particular group, right, are about to, they're going into their disaster, their calamity, God's wrath, okay? And with that, He's going to be shearing and pruning things off of them. And when you, the wrath and calamity, right, leads to renewal. And what I'm trying to say is, when you shear and prune a plant, it encourages new growth for the plant, right? So He's going, and these spouses are going to make the decision to run from the destruction, right? And it's going to, all of this is going to lead to renewal, new growth, and purification. So, and then they're going to rise up to spring up, right? They're going to be able to experience your elevation with you. But for now, and that's what I was even telling him. I was like, look, you're supposed to be doing these things with me, but you can't until I've already told him. So like, I don't know if God has showed you guys this, but like, there's certain things they have to get rid of before God's going to bring it together, before God's going to allow them to go with you, right? And that goes back to can't go without balls, like the fireballs. They can't go without all of these things happening, but they can't go with you either until they get rid of certain things. So like, I had this dream, and this dream has been brought back to my mind. I had it like 2 years ago, where I was on the highway and I was going down the wrong side of the highway. So I turn around, right, and I come back up, and I'm in the median, right? And essentially, I'm like trying to get them. I'm like, hey, do you know how to get me to X, Y, and Z? How do I get back to going the right way, or whatever? And they're like, well, basically they told me the easiest thing that they could do for me is to have the authorities, like the police, transport me, right? And that's like heavenly authority, transport me to where I needed to go, right? But my spouse had something on him in the dream, and they weren't gonna let him go with me until he trashed it, till he got rid of it. He couldn't go with me. And then this angel, I told y'all before that sometimes every now and then I have an angel come to me in my dream that will like minister to me, tell me what's about to happen. So in that dream, she comes to me and she holds my hands, right? And she's like, you're about to see some things some promises come to pass in your life. And we just started jumping up and down, like crying and laughing and smiling and just pure joy, right? And then the next dream I had after that was of this, like, it looked like I was in like outer space kind of atmosphere, and there was this floating door, and it was open, and I can't remember. I have to get my old notebook. I don't have that notebook with me, so I have to go back, but that door was open and I went through it. And so, but I went through it by myself. And some of you, God may, and I seen Synovia go through this, where God elevated her basically in the presence of her spouse. Her spouse had to watch. That seems to be how God is doing that for a lot of people, at least in my case. And so while you're being elevated, their destruction and calamity and all of the things is about to hit them. So like your blessings are going to trickle in and then just pour down, right? God's wrath and judgment is going to trickle in and then pour down. It's the same thing, just different, rewards for obedience, curses for disobedience. And so y'all know that I woke up this morning. I literally woke up with an email that said breakfast is served all day, and it was like a party favor, like celebration, right? And it was sent at 7:09, and 7:09, it blew my mind. I was like, whoa. Because the people in these businesses, chances are, like, they send out these emails, they're not looking at the Strong's Concordance to make up these emails. Like, that was all God, right? And it literally means to eat breakfast, to dine, first meal of the day, sunrise. And so I have some of the words that I've been seeing since I've been here is crown, smile, joy, refresh, popular, holiday, paradise, soar. I have a word on that, soar, eagle, soar. Action. I kept seeing delivery in progress. And then I also seen delivery now. Something else is interesting. I was listening to the song Flowers. It came on by, I forgot her name, but it's like a sad song kind of. I think it's by like Avery something. I don't know. But in the midst of it playing, I literally started smelling this random like flower, like floral scent, literally like flowers. And I have seen 888. I have a picture of it I'll post, which means new beginnings, but like triple times. Not angel numbers. I had seen the less stress way. So it's almost like in that dream that I had about getting turned around on the median. And they were like, well, the easiest thing for you to do is to be escorted by the authorities. That's the less stressful way. That's the less stress way. So y'all are about to be turned around just like me and transported exactly where you need to go. And then it said adventure awaits. So there's adventures ahead. Renewal, relaxation, restoration, help is on the way. God's like bon appetit. Surprise. You're about to see some promises come to pass, y'all. It's elevation time. It's rewards time. Like, it's here. It's literally here. Joy cometh in the morning. It's morning. It's morning. Be expectant, and keep your eyes looking steadfastly, right? Fix your eyes on Jesus, and be expectant, because it's happening. It's happening now. your rest your restoration and renewal and elevation starts with you. It starts with you. God's gonna start with you. He's gonna bless you first. He's gonna elevate you first. The table has been set. It's been prepared in front of your enemies, and unfortunately, at this time, some of the spouses are the enemy. At this moment, they won't be forever, but in this time, unfortunately, that's where some of them are at. God has handed them over to reprobate mind, right? But this judgment and wrath that's about to hit them, God's gonna be taking some things away from them. Those things that they've been sitting on, like up high, like a high horse. God's about to be taking it from them. That could be loss of job, loss of home, loss of vehicle, loss of money, loss of friends, loss of family, whatever it is that's kept them going, it's getting cut off. And you're going to know this is happening. God's going to show you. He places the table in front of your enemies, right? Their table is prepared in front of you. So your eyes will see what their courses look like. And they're going to see what your courses look like. Their eyes are, God's got you on display. He's going to show, they're going to see it. And it's nothing for you to be boastful of. Like Cinderella, stay humble. Pray for them, but don't try to manipulate what God's doing. It has to happen, so you kind of got to stay out of the way for that. But yeah, I can look at this as my arc. My spouse saw it as me being disrespectful to him. And I know what God told me to do. I know that I'm supposed to be here. God has been in this whole thing the whole time. And I have peace about it. And just because, someone doesn't understand something doesn't mean that you're wrong. These people who have been, I guess, not equally yoked with you, they don't understand, they don't get it. That doesn't even go for spouse, that goes for anybody. There could be family and friends that talk about you, they don't get it. Sometimes that can be discouraging. I know throughout my journey, my spouse has rejected me. He's never understood my relationship with God. I don't even think he thinks I hear from God, to be honest with you. He's never agreed with any of this stuff. And, but God showed me a long time ago that eventually he would. And so, eventually people are going to see that God was with you the whole time. But God will do that vindicating, right? You don't have to prove nothing to nobody. God will do it. If he's called you to do something, then, he's got that handled. So it's not something you have to worry about. But yeah, it was definitely unexpected. But the more that I see it, I'm like, it was orchestrated. It was supposed to be that way, because I don't need to be caught up in what's about to happen. I don't. Because I've been there before when there was judgment going on. And it definitely spilled over onto me, and I don't want to be in that position again. No way. Nope, and neither do you. So if you're in separation right now from them, just be thankful that you're not caught up in that, because yeah, God will bring it together at the appointed time. So yeah, that's what's going on. If y'all feel led to sew or to help in any way, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I said about the third night, he definitely wants me here, so I know if that's his will, then it's his bill. At the moment, it's just not looking like it's looking like I don't know how this is gonna happen, but if it's in his will, it's his bill, right? So we'll see. I pray that y'all have a blessed rest of your weekend. And I will see y'all soon. Okay, bye.